Hi everyone, it's the 5th of March 2013 and Nikon have brought out a new Coolpix camera, Coolpix being the smaller, not SLR or anything like that. It's the P330, 330, and from straight off the bat this looks like a really good little compact camera. So this video probably isn't aimed at my normal subscriber list, but for people who are searching for a digital camera, which one to get, I think the Coolpix P330 is looking like a very good camera. Now, what's good about it? Okay, first of all, size-wise, it's going to be absolutely fine for all your needs. If you're doing stuff where you're just walking around taking photos, if you're climbing up a hill, this would be absolutely fine. It's not going to weigh you down or require you to carry an extra bag. It's got an f1.8 aperture, so that means it's a big amount of light is able to get into the camera and hit the sensor. The sensor is a 1 to 1.7 inch sensor, so it's a tiny little sensor. It's about that size, but it's a little bit bigger than some of its sensors in its previous cameras. So slightly bigger sensor, it means it should be a little bit better. The other thing is wide angle. Now, with compact cameras, you can't really get more than 24 millimeters in relative terms to a 35 millimeter camera lens. So 24 is pretty much the maximum. This camera goes to 24 and it's a 5x zoom up to 120. So that's a pretty good, absolutely perfect. You know, you're not really needing more than that. If you're needing more than that, I say go for a different, maybe like a bridge camera or a super zoom. Inside the camera, it's also got a VR in the lens, which is always good because that means whenever you half press the shutter and you look through, you get a stabilized image of what you're looking at rather than it just stabilizing whenever you take a photo. So I like that action that's got there. So wide aperture, vibration reduction, wide angle to a good amount of zoom. So that means if you're taking photos of yourself somewhere and you take a photo like that, it's going to be wide enough to get you and your friend. It's 12.2 megapixels, which is the same as my Nikon D700. So that's more than enough megapixels that you'll ever need. It also means if you are going to do editing, because you can edit these, it also shoots in RAW, which is very handy. So if you are editing, it's not going to take ages for you to do lots of little changes to any photos that you take with it. You know, 12 megapixels, pretty much most computers can deal with that fairly fast. One of the great things, which I think if you're a pro, if you're more enthusiast photographer and you've got your SLR, but you just want something to just take with you, the fact that this one has got SPAM or PSAM, program speed, aperture, manual mode. The fact that you've got them on this little camera means don't worry, we don't have to just be in auto the whole time. So again, if you're maybe wanting to get a little bit more into photography, the fact that it's got these functions, then that's good for you to learn how to start changing the aperture and changing and the fact that because it's an f1.8, you potentially can see changes in the aperture. Although it is such a tiny sensor and it's such a small lens, you probably won't really see much difference when you do an aperture change, but there potentially could be. It'd be much more than if it's an f2.8. It's also giving some GPS and it's also giving 1080 video footage. So if you want to take any nice swanky video, it's also saying 1080 at 60i. Now the 60i means interlace, so it actually takes 30 frames that way, then 30 frames that way, and then it interlaces them like that. The reason why it doesn't do 60p is because I think Nikon doesn't have the codec to be able to record at that speed. It needs a higher something. I'm not too sure what it is, but it means because it's at 60i, you can slow it down a little bit, but you might start to notice kind of little changes going on between the frames like that. But otherwise, 1080 video looking good. And prices for this is looking like it's going to be around about the £300, then dropping pretty quickly. Currently at the moment, its older brother, its little brother, the P310, is on Amazon. It's a 16 megapixel camera, so more pixels but less zoom, only a 4.2 times zoom. However, that one also wide angle, very good, and a f1.8. That's a really good camera as well. I really like the P300s and the P550s as well. I think are quite good, but I don't think they are 24. So I really like the fact that it goes to 24mm. So if it says 28mm, instead of getting this area, so 24 you get this, 28 you'd only get this area, and then like 110 you get that area. So that's where it seems like a telephoto. But yeah, his older brother as well is down at £180. It was, when it first came out, around about 300. So yeah, this new one's probably going to be around about £300 straight away. But I would say it would drop fairly quickly after that. But yeah, I think if you're needing a little camera just to take up a hill, maybe if you're going skiing or snowboarding or hill walking and you don't want to carry around a big camera, or you don't have a GoPro with you, then I would say I think this looks light enough, cheap enough, bright enough, and wide angle enough to get good shots. I would highly recommend this camera.